After owning this boat for 1 year exactly now, it is time to tackle that big job that was nearly a deal breaker for us purchasing this boat. It's a big job, it's going to take a while to do, and it's going to be repetitive and I'm going to hate it, but it needs to be done, and now's the time to do it. Because Nandji II had such a growth going on with so many barnacles, basically bottom of Nandji II butt was just a reef. And all those fish that were hanging around the prop and that, now the little barnies are knocked off and we're underway. Those fish still want to keep Nandji II as home. Look at them go, they're trying their hardest to keep up. Some of them drop away, they get caught up with the wake of Nandji II and just get washed away. But go little guy! Go little, keep up, go son!
We're just motoring through a minefield of fads. It's pretty good to do this part in the day because there's a lot of stuff in the water. We're heading down to a new anchorage. Yosh wants to do some bottom work and we want to go down to some clearer water. We want to make some water as well. Our tank is empty and the filters that we have, they cost $15 each and we're only getting 2 tankfuls out of them. So it's not very economical making water where we are at the moment. It's also good to get the boat out, get it going, use the engine, use everything and see where we're at since coming back. Yeah, and what a day for it as well. It's an absolute schmelter today. There's not a lot of wind and the sun is beating down. We've been pretty lucky in Thailand the last week. It's been quite windy and also the humidity has been reduced. It's been quite a dry heat, so it was really nice to just kind of ease back into the warm tropical weather here. But yeah, now it's starting to pick up again and we're getting that humidity and that just absolute hot feeling going on. So welcome back to the tropics.
Your world, isn't it, mate? We're just living in it.
I've been trying to find a net in Thailand. We've been to 5 different shops trying to find a net and I couldn't find one.
Mosquito net.
Yeah, mosquito net, you know, and like in a country with like 1 million different mosquito-borne diseases, it's just outrageous that it took me so long to find one. And the one that I found, is green. Beautiful. Beautiful. And I'm gonna make something for Tallulah's room and some of the hatches as well. So, but if you're wondering why it's green, just don't have any choices.
When we first bought Nandji II, she was up on the hard stand in Thailand with a big tent over it. So the previous owner had hauled out with the best intentions to do a refit to the teak deck, you know, leaky teaky. And if you do remember when we first bought it, there was quite a bit of water ingress that sort of destroyed the aft cabin. It was just all sort of cosmetic stuff. But the screwed in teak deck was the point where I was like, oh man, that's such a big job. I'm not sure if I want to buy the boat because of that reason. But here we are, we bought the boat, absolutely loving it, not disappointed in the decision at all, but it's time to really rejuvenate this teak. It's been a question of whether we'd rip it off or if we'd redo it, and you know, brand new boats these days, they get teak on it, they lay down the teak and it's like 4 mil thick. Nandji II's teak is still best bit of 10 mil, 8 to 10 mil throughout the whole lot, so I feel like it's a bad idea or a waste of a beautiful teak deck if we just rip it off. So therefore we're going to rejuvenate it. Have to go over all of these screws and I plan on pulling out every single one of these screws and recapping it. I do know there's going to be some areas of teak that's probably come unstuck and undone. Hopefully not too many. Hopefully we don't find too much water ingress that's sort of happened, and then so when we pull these plugs out there's going to be water in the core. Hopefully that doesn't happen. First step is just going through all of these screws, and you can see here there's a lot of where they've previously tried to rebung it, but they didn't worry about getting bungs. They've just literally just epoxied over the top, and they all look pretty watertight. All the screws are tight. It doesn't really show a lot of seepage around some areas. I can feel it underfoot in some areas where potentially the teak has lifted up, but also because of we need to recork all the deck. So we'll have to, after we've done all these bungs, we'll have to dig out all the corking, sand it all back obviously, and then recork the whole boat. So I've been going at it for quite a while now and sort of figured out my routine. So I'll take you through how I've been doing it. This is probably the easiest way about it. Tucked up underneath my umbrella to start with. I've been tacking it with a couple of flathead screwdrivers to get the cap out. First the big one, then the little one to tie it up. I've noticed all of these screws in this deck, they're all the hex head. So really got to get the little screwdriver in to clean out the hex head so I can fit a little screwdriver in it. Getting the screws out is definitely the biggest challenge about this whole job. Some are a bit more stubborn than others, some come out pretty simply, but if we were to use a drill, I'd just strip every head and then it would just make it so much more impossible. So you really have to use a hand screwdriver to go bit by bit to get it out. But as soon as you get that head showing through the deck, mate, straight under the mouldy grips, eh? Whew. You really have to treat each individual screw as its own little task, because each one needs its own little perfection to chip out the plug in certain areas, to get out the fiberglass, and then to get the screw out. Now that I've got a pretty good run of like 20 to 30 holes with the screws out, it's time to drill them out. So I'm drilling them down because I'm not going to put the screws back in. So I'm drilling out the hole to make a good plug. So the plug will be the whole thickness of the teak and it goes down to the deck, to the glass of the deck. So when I'm drilling it out, I'm sort of taking out all the sawdust until you get that first one little bit of white. So it's sort of showing that you've reached the fiberglass. But I'm drilling them with an 8.5mm drill bit. The plugs that are cut in inches are in the your weird American system. So they're 3/8, and I've got an 8.5mm drill bit, which is a little bit smaller than 3/8, just so it's a snugger fit. I did actually get the proper plug cutter that is 3/8 in diameter, so it's the exact same as the plug. But I feel when the plug goes in, it's just sort of like, it just slots in perfectly, whereas having it a little bit smaller, I sort of got to tap them in, and I kind of like that squishness, that tight seal, because I do, even though like I am putting epoxy in there, I feel like that's just giving it more of a seal anyway, rather than just having heaps of epoxy in there. So that's my thinking behind it. All right, now to put all the bungs in. So we've got a little bit of epoxy here. So the technique I'm sort of adopting is because epoxy will go off when it's in a big lump, when it's sort of deep, but the life that you can use it when it's sort of spread out is stretched. So I'm going to, hence the reason why I'm doing 20 to 30 holes at once, so I can go through each hole, backfill them all up with epoxy, so make sure all the drill hole is full of epoxy. Haven't found any water, so this has been really good so far. So the core and the screws are all been really dry. So if there was water, it'd be a bit of a different story. But because I haven't found any water, I'm happily backfilling all these holes with epoxy, and then yeah, it's been smacking the bung in on top. As all things with Nandji vids, I guess I should say, this is definitely not a how-to video. This is more of a, this is what I'm doing. Let me know if it's right or not in the comments below. This is just what I've figured out, the research. Basically, I just want to get all the screws out because that's the gateway into the core. So the less screws there are in the deck, the better. So there's no water going into the core. I figure best ingredient for that is epoxy, and we want this to look good, so hence I'm using the teak bungs, unlike the previous owner who just epoxied up the hole. You know, we are in Thailand, and Thailand is the place to get your teak done. I guess because Thailand is the home of teak here, and I guess going north, Myanmar and stuff. Pretty sure all the teak in the world comes from this area. It is definitely the spot to get it done, because you know, a teak deck of this size, we actually cheekily got it quoted while while we're on the hard stand, just because there was like 4 different quotes that came with the sale of the boat, and we quoted basically over $20,000 to do the deck. While we were in the marina last year, doing some finalised jobs when we're doing the davits, there was a guy that kept pestering as well, so I said, no worries, come over and give us a quote about rebunging it and recorking the deck. And they wanted over 2 boat bucks for that, 2,000 bucks. So mate, it may be the place with teak, but I ain't paying no one 2 grand to do what I'm doing right now. So if this is wrong, it's wrong. But it's keeping the water out, and that's all that matters. Probably done, I don't know, 150 of the 600-ish that we need to be done. Whole day 2, 3, maybe 4. They're all sort of blending into each other now. Try to smash out as many as you can in a day until your mind goes a little bit crazy and your knees get too sore. But we're up to that final stage now. I guess this is the rewarding stage. So I've done this pretty much port side and a fair bit of the bow. They've all been drilled out, screws removed, bunged. And now I've got to cut the top of the bung off to make it level with the rest of the deck in preparation for sanding. And I feel that this is sort of like going to be the most rewarding bit, hence the reason why I've just made this big long run, so I can just like chip them all off and feel good about the work that's been done. Sore already, Lula.
Oh no!
Oh,
That's sad.
it's a bit sad.
That's okay. I can.
Lots more to go.
I can sit.
Thank you. Oh, it's all better now. Oh, we're just not winning today, Lula.
What? How? Why did you like that?
All right, man, I tell you what, this deck is going to be the death of me. Here we are, like 7, 10, 12 days, I don't know, into it. 500 bungs later, got no more bungs, and still only done 3/4 of the deck. So, man, I'm still frothing to get this deck finished, but I didn't realise it was going to take me so long. I really thought that this video was just going to be all about the deck rejuvenation, but gotta say, it's going to be a bit of a drawn out process, I reckon. This is just the next level, but it's going to look so good when it's done, but man, it's just going to take time. Also getting a little bit frustrated, I suppose, as we're waiting on other people. Hate waiting on other people. We're just trying to find out stuff. We're trying to get all our ducks in a row ready for going into the boatyard. We have quite a lot of boat work to do in preparation for the sailing. The deck has really just been keeping me busy. You know, we plan on replacing the rig. We have some other bottom jobs to do and just some general boat maintenance to make this vessel ocean ready. We'll make a big video soon about our plans for the year and exactly what's going on to give you guys a bit more insight of what's going down, because we do talk about a big year of sailing ahead. So let's let you know what's going on, but that'll be another video coming up soon. I guess for this job, to finish it off, the best answer right now is to just go sailing. It's bloody windy, got no more bungs, can't do any more work, so might as well just go sailing. Yeah, let's go sailing.
We kind of feel like we've exhausted this place, so we're going to head on over to a different anchorage. It's got a cute little beach with lots of little restaurants on it and also a park across the road. It'll give Tallulah a new playground and us a new place just to be and yeah, just to change it up a little bit, because being in the same anchorage when you don't need to be every day is just silly. So let's go and go somewhere else. in Geelong Bay, and this is where all of the charter boats and the yacht trips and the fishing trips leave from. So you can see a whole fleet of boats heading out. They're going to head out to some of the islands just here, and they're pretty busy places. We have been there before, and it was really busy. It was beautiful, but just like thousands of people. So if you can choose where you're going, then we kind of try to go to the more quieter places.
Super messy between the islands here. There's obviously a bit of current. I think we're on the back of a full moon, so there's still massive tides. Bit of wind today, 20 knots, so those two things combined makes a little short, steep, choppy sea, so we're rolling around a bit without a main.
Not for long.
Not for long, we'll just do a little jibe here in between the islands. Have a little downwind run, heading north.
Said that you've been hurt one too many times before. Ended up staring in the bathroom mirror, crying on your bedroom floor. Baby, you can take my word, you haven't gotta hurt no more. Things about to get much better. I wanna make this forever. I wanna make this forever.
This is the bay that we were hoping to go into. It's called Carter. We've just had a look at it, and it's good for Tallulah because there's a park and a playground close by, but it's not good for Marley. There's not the best beach access as well for the dinghy. There's lots of people here as well. So we're gonna sail a bit further north up the coast and see if we can find somewhere else that ticks all the boxes. Yeah, we're thinking of a beach about 15 miles up the coast, so let's pull up some sails and get going. It's a beautiful day for it. It's so sunny, and there's wind, so any chance you can get to sail around Thailand, you got to take. Probably should take the laundry off the end of the boom.